Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my Say Yes to the Deck haul. So if you haven't seen it yet, you'll want to stop this video. I'll put it up in the cards. Go watch episode number 1 of Say Yes to the Deck, which is my new series where I bring you guys along with me as I decide what deck or decks I'm going to be purchasing, and just spoilers abound as we move forward. If you haven't seen that yet, watch it first and then come back and join me here. But I'm going to actually unbox with you guys the decks that I purchased. So I actually ended up getting 2. The first of those was the Marseille Cat Tarot. So I'm going to open this guy up and we're going to go through it together. We'll do our first impressions, or my first impressions. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think of these as well. This is one that nobody's really ever talking about. I couldn't find any videos about this deck. I will do a full flip through on my channel if you guys want to see that. Oh no, more plastic. But this is a Marseille deck where the main characters are cats. And I'm actually really excited about it because a lot of the more classic looking Marseille decks kind of turn me off a little bit just because I'm such a, I like cute decks, I like colorful decks. And so the really classic ones with its limited palettes with like the red and the blue and the yellow and, you know, it just, I don't know, I want something more. And that may change as I work with Marseille more, but for now, I just want something to make it seem a little more fun. So this is a low Scarabeo deck. It is bordered. Cardstock feels pretty decent, like it's a little thin actually, maybe like 310 GSM. So it's not really, I feel like low Scarabeo puts out a thicker cardstock most of the time, but that's just their little title card or intro card. And then here's the actual title card. The backs are super cute. So here we go. So I love that the Fool is being chased by mice. Magician, High Priestess. I like that at the top you have the English and then at the bottom you have La Papesse. I can't speak. I'm pretty sure that is the Italian. I'm pretty sure that's the Italian. We have our Empress, Emperor. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I do plan to do a flip through. Oh my gosh, I love that the wheel has all these little mice on it. That's so cute. Yeah, I'm really actually excited to dig into this. I love that there's a cat in the moon. What really excited me actually about this were the minor arcana, because you have, you know, your really ornate Marseille style pips, but you also have hints to the Rider-Waite-Smith. Like here we have these cats sort of toasting and celebrating. Yeah, these two. And then here we have a cat with some grapes, sort of reminiscent of the party of the 3. And the 4, we have this almost bored-looking cat in the center. So you get kind of a hint to that Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. Oh, and here's really cool. You see the literal wine spilling out of the 3 cups that are overturned. So if you are looking for something to kind of bridge the gap between Rider-Waite-Smith and Marseille, I feel like this could be the one. This is really cute. I'm not disappointed that I picked this up. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun working with this as one of my study decks for Marseille. And I just love these little characters kind of hanging out and giving us an idea of what is going on in those cards. So yes, I will do a full walkthrough. If you guys want to see one, just let me know in the comments down below. But you can see it's pretty thin, but I feel like it'll hold up. That's the word I was looking for. I think it'll hold up fine. I'm gonna just hit this one with a bit of my smoke here. This is just sort of a ritual I do with any new decks coming into my collection. And a bit of my Palo Santo. Perfect. And Peggy has very generously already given me a bag for this deck. So I think I'm going to keep it in its tuck box because the cards do feel a little bit thin. And that way they're less likely to get sort of banged around in their bag. Come on. We'll see how long that tuck box lasts with it being so finicky like that. And the bag that Peggy gave me for this deck is this really cute star cat bag, which is fun. This is officially, I think, my only cat deck now. I had a playful one that I ended up gifting to a friend, but this one I think is the only one that's sticking around. So that is the Marseille Cat Tarot. The other deck I decided to pick up is the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. Boy, this is one I really had to think about though, because I have traded my other Wild Unknown decks. So this is one that I just, I thought about and thought about. I had it on my wish list while I knew it was being developed because I love working with archetypes. The packaging is a little much. We have this nice big decorative box. I guess if you were going to keep this on a shelf, that's pretty nice. And it says, accept all, reject none. And we have this little ribbon here to pull out the book. That's really nice. It's a meaty, meaty book. The back, I've just pulled this out of the box, but the back has like a weak spot. I don't know if you see that. It like kind of immediately creased, which is a little bit obnoxious because I just opened this. You can kind of see it more there. You're like, wait, what? So there's already a fold in that, but that's okay. Books are meant to be beat up and read. And then inside we have another box. So this is a little disappointing because for me, because I keep my decks on bags, I would have preferred to actually just have this deck-sized box that fits the deck. That would have been nice. This is just going to go in a drawer in case I ever decide to rehome this deck, which is kind of like a waste. But I can see why if you were putting it on a shelf, you wouldn't want to put a round box on your shelf because it would just roll right off. So, you know, practicality abounds here. Let's see. It says The Wild Unknown Archetypes, Kim Kranz. Oh, I love that it's got its own round box. And this is great because I'm going to be putting this whole thing into a peggy bag. In fact, let's just check and see if it'll fit a standard peggy bag while we're here. I just pull a random peggy bag, you know, from out of nowhere. Nope. So it looks like this is a standard peggy bag. So it will need a large peggy bag, which is fine. She's making a new batch of large right now, I think. So that works out well for me. I love this inside of this box. And I'll have to say up front, I love that this one even has its own ribbon. It's like a nice sturdy ribbon. I got a deck once. I think it was actually, excuse me, a Lo Scarabeo box that had a little ribbon. And I was like, yay, Lo Scarabeo finally put in a ribbon, but it was a super flimsy one. This is actually a really nice sturdy ribbon. So this box actually feels like it's going to last a nice long time. It's like a nice, you know, sturdy cardboard box. So I have to say, I was just about to say this when I interrupted myself. I do not like the backs of these cards, like at all. Maybe they'll grow on me, but this image, I'm just going to bring it in closer so you can see. It's very like grainy, it's like it was blown up too big. Like in this image here where it's small, I'm assuming it's the same image. It looks really bright and shiny, but when it's blown up to this size, it's just grainy and kind of ugh, but that's okay. Let's take a quick look. And again, if you want to see a full flip through on this deck, I'm more than happy to do it. I just want to kind of get my first impressions. So this is what people have been talking about. It's kind of like a combination of Kim Kranz sort of line work and painting style combined with photo collage elements as well. One of the things that I got excited about the more that I looked at this deck was just how universal the archetypes felt like they could be and how intuitive. Like the Mentor gives me intuitively a ton to jump off of. Same thing with the Poet, the Maiden, the Hunter. Yeah, it's really the Judge, the Siren, the Creator, Sustainer. I talked about this in my Say Yes to the Deck video. This is cool, the Unseen. Love that there's a shadow card. Interesting. So the one, I believe there's sort of like suits. Let's actually pause this little flip through and let's take a look at the structure of this deck because I'm not all that familiar with how it's laid out, but I do believe there's like different chunks of the deck that mean different things. So let's take a look at the guidebook. Ah, yes, here we go. We have the Selves, which ends at the 1, which is card 30, which is this one. Okay. So these ones are the Selves. And then we have the Places, which ends at 50. Oh boy, now I have to know more Roman numerals. Which one's 50? The Storm, the Underworld, the Fault Line, and the Bardo. Oh, L is 50. Okay, well, we're going to learn more Roman numerals using this deck, it looks like. Okay, so these are the Places. And then we have the Tools, which ends at 70, which I'm guessing that's 65 because the L is 50, 6, 7, 8, 9. There is 70 there. So starting at Eros, we have the Initiations, and that's the last suit. Okay. So these are the Initiations. Okay, so we have the selves, the places, the tools, and the initiations. I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time to really understand the structure and why and how it's set up this way. It looks like it's going to take a bit of time to work with this, so that's really cool. I might actually spend a fair amount of time with this deck. What I may do actually is pair this particular deck with my Marseille decks, because I'm going to be working with several Marseille decks in a row, and maybe I'll work with this deck all through the month of February and just really get to know it, because I think if I get to know it, I'm going to really enjoy working with it. So that is what I think I might do. I'll let you guys know for sure, but I think this one deserves a little bit of quality time to really get to know it. So that is lovely. I love the round box, like I said, and that'll be great because when I put this box in a peggy bag, it'll keep the cards really safe, but they'll still get to hang on my deck wall. So that is the Archetypes, Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krans. And lastly, this one is a bit of a surprise, actually. I'm going to be, let me back up. I'm going to be putting up a video where I do the full unboxing and first impressions and thoughts on the Dreams of Gaia Tarot Pocket Edition. This was actually a very generous gift from a subscriber. She had watched my Say Yes to the Deck and reached out and said she wanted to get this deck for me, which was super, super sweet. It means so, so much. She'd just gotten it for herself and she just loved it and knew I would like it. So I did a full unboxing. I'm going to put that video up first, if all plans go as they should. So if so, I will link it up in the cards. If for some reason I forget and put this video up first, then you'll be able to check that out a little bit later. Hopefully I'll remember what I'm doing here. So I have already shuffled this deck and done a full walkthrough, but I'm actually over the moon, completely thrilled with this deck. I'm really loving the synopsis of the meaning of the cards that you get in this little guidebook that comes with it, which I think is just really, really well done. It's the exact same as the introduction to each of the cards in the fuller sized guidebook for the full-sized edition of this deck, and I do compare the two in my other video. What I really love is just how portable this is and how luscious this cardstock is and how well this deck shuffles. I find also that not having the titles on the cards seems to like unbox them a little bit for me. I had gotten a little bit frustrated with the change in the structure of this deck, and I think I was kind of just getting in my own way, and the titles were just reminding me of that frustration. But with the titles gone in this little pocket edition, I feel like I'm able to really examine and look at the artwork and take the artwork in, and it's given me a much more intuitive way to connect with these cards, and so I'm really, really thrilled. I will say that if you have the full size, I think it's really, really worth it actually to get this little pocket edition. And I actually think if the full size is intimidating just because of its structure, this could actually be a really great one to start with. It still, in this little guidebook, explains the structure and why you have the major arcana the way that you do. Essentially, it's broken down into, here it is. So is this where it is? I'm pretty sure it does explain it in here. Ah, yes. Okay. So you have your choice card and then you have stages of life. So these are going to be the child, the maiden, the youth, the mother, the father, the crone, the sage, death, and rebirth. And that ends the first chunk. And then you have your reasons for being. So those are knowledge, wisdom, love, healing, union, self, abundance, and destiny. And finally, you have your influence, and this is stuff like journey, thought, emotions, perception, integrity, intuition, faith, and desire. And I really actually like the redone major arcana, and this just kind of gets right to the point of what's different about this deck that way. And there's also a little bit of a change in the court cards as well, but it talks about that. And I think this just makes it an easy deck to just quickly reference what each card is really trying to tell you. I think these key phrases are sort of the nuts and bolts of what each card means, so working with those will get you quite far. I think my original impressions were that this would only be useful to me because I have the full-size guidebook, and really having taken a look at this little pocket guidebook and these cards, I actually think you could really enjoy working with these even if you don't have the original and you don't have that bigger guidebook. I do think the bigger guidebook has tons of wonderful, wonderful information, and it's really, really good for self-exploration, but I think you can get pretty close to that experience with this pocket edition, even though the book is so much less meaty. And I think in some ways it actually makes the deck feel more accessible and less, I don't know, overwhelming or intimidating. But yeah, they shuffle really, really beautiful. I mean, I'm pretty aggressive with my shuffles, and you can see a little bit of a bend there from having rifled them, but they're a pretty wonderful deck to shuffle, whether you bridge or you don't bridge. But yeah, you can tell I'm like kind of rough on my cards, but that's okay. I want to be able to use them. I want to be able to put them through their paces, and I want to know it's all going to be fine. And these feel really lovely. The cardstock is like smooth, matte, almost velvety. Like it's almost what somebody might think of as a rose petal finish. It's not. It doesn't have that rubberized feel, but it's very smooth and buttery feeling. So that is the Dreams of Gaia Pocket Edition. And thank you so much to the generous soul that gifted this to me. I'm really, really thrilled with it. I don't know when this one will come into rotation for me. Right now it's kind of living by my bedside and I'm just playing with it now and then, but I will definitely be pulling this in soon, I believe. So that is it. That is my Say Yes to the Deck haul. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I went through all of these. It was really, really fun to share this with you, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!